Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Armchair Keepers of Arcane Secrets. I'm your host, Matt Ryan, and I'm joined as always by.
Wait a second. This is a very special holiday edition of Armchair Keepers of Arcane Secrets, right?
I feel like I just came off a world tour. I'm very low energy.
We need to have more holiday cheer and enthusiasm, right? Behind this. Our viewers need to see this.
Okay, here, I'll take two.
Oh, okay.
Here, stop talking. Happy holidays, everybody. Was that
Happy
better?
holidays.
Bob's got his Saint Nick hat on
That's right.
with you got a dingle ball there. Is that what's the technical term of that?
I I hope it's not a dingle ball.
I think it's dingle ball.
Great. I have my dingle ball. Everyone, look, my dingle ball's out. I think I can get banned for that.
People love the cursing. Did you read that in our
I
comments?
did see
People
that. I did see
people
that.
love the curse. Okay, well, we have to wait for 6 minutes, folks, until the kids go to bed.
That's right.
The child keepers. And once
That's
they're
right.
gone to bed, then we'll start swearing like pirates.
That's right.
Bob, I think are you one ahead of me or are we
I don't
it's
know. I don't think
time?
so. I think we're both mired in Shanghai. I do have to say, I was very, very thrilled to be able to game yesterday evening. I had another episode of in Shanghai, and it had been a long time since our adventures at Gamehole. I had only gamed one time, and it was I was long overdue. So,
Now the last that I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong,
mhm,
which I know you will,
I will.
is they your group had creepy crawled someplace. I can't remember where it was,
Yep. Ho
and
Fung's
then
Mansion.
where was it?
Ho Fung's Mansion.
Ho Fung's mansion.
Yep.
And they run into the crazy daughter?
No, no, they didn't. They did not. They did not.
All right, so they're in Ho Fang's crib and they're creepy crawling around and
Hmm.
they're looking in his underwear drawer or something, and
More or
then they hear
less.
the rack of a Thompson submachine gun and they turn
Yeah.
around.
Okay. So you're along the same lines. So two parts. They were at Ho Fung's mansion, then they left, and then they wanted to get guns, and so they basically they were led to an abandoned noodle shop, and because Jack Brady had heard that they were asking about him, right? So he wanted to confront them, and so one of his guys lured, basically led them to this noodle shop
From the
under.
firm action, one of his firm
Yeah, yeah.
action guys.
Yep, exactly. And so, the cliffhanger ending there was the gun being racked as Jack Brady introduced themselves, and that's where my session opened up yesterday.
Okay, so your sessions opens up and they're staring down the barrel of Jack Brady.
Exactly, exactly. So, a little bit of back and forth between the players and Jack Brady, and they were basically able to tell him what they were doing, right? Give him enough information so that he wasn't overly suspicious of them. And then, he launched into his little speech, right? His little speech, courtesy of the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society, which was a really nice expansion of what's in the text. It was interesting yesterday as I was running it. I misplaced the envelope for Shanghai, right? So where is this? Where is this thing, right? And so, because again, I like to follow along with the transcription as it's being read, and so I couldn't find it. It actually was underneath a pile of stuff. So surprise, surprise.
Okay.
But what I did was I followed along in the text. And it was interesting to see where the text that's in the standard 7th edition book, or
You mean this book right here?
right
This
on, right
this
on.
this massive Nyarlathotep volume. Now, does yours have the chimes of bayonet stickers on it?
You know, I don't have that version, strangely enough, right? It's almost as if
This is
it's
the
custom.
punk. This is the punk rock version, northeastern version.
Yes, I'm not
Go
I'm not
ahead.
that punk rock. But in any case, it's interesting to see where, the audio version deviates from the one in the text. And again, not saying one's better than the other, but it's just interesting. And so going, my team ate up the audio transcription. Really, it gave me a perfect vehicle to kind of launch into my Jack Brady, which was very unhinged and full of bad ideas, right? Full of bad ideas. But the good news is I was able to give them, the players, the second half of the Eye of Light and Darkness. So now they have both halves, right? Which is a
Did that thrill
fantastic.
them? Did that thrill
Oh my
them?
gosh. Yes, again. So it was just a fantastic moment. And then he introduced them, the players, to Mu, who is like Mu Hassan, or I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that last name, but in any case, the fellow who is the leader, or not the leader, but the scholar who's translating the
It's
seven cryptical
Moo
books of
Hassan. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's what it is. Mr. Moo. Yeah, yeah,
Mr. Moo, Mr. Moo. And
yeah.
so between the two of them, they kind of talked a little bit more about the ongoing plans of the Order of the Bloated Woman, how they want to poison the sky and bring back the goddess and do all these terrible things. So the players really have like a moment there where the enormity of the task ahead of them sinks in, right? We got to do what? We got to do how? What? How are we
Now,
going to
was
do
this
this?
was this like did they have an inkling that this was happening?
Yeah, again, yeah, they had already had the talk in their Athletep back in Cairo where they got an idea of that there was something big happening. They saw, and this is just more layering in of the details. And so, with the name Gray Dragon Island being dropped to them for the first time, really, for them hearing about that. And so, again, part of the narrative is that in my story, not your story, that Jack is all about finding his love, right? His girlfriend who has been kidnapped by Ho Feng because of her interaction with him. And
Mei
so
Ling. Mei Ling.
yeah, Mei Ling. And so they mentioned, it was really nice. They mentioned that they were doing these different pursuits and that they had encountered her. And he said, "Where is she?" And when he found out that she was gone, he flipped out, right? He flipped out. He's like, she has to be at Ho Feng's mansion. Let's go there right now. Let's go right now to do this. And they no, no, let's not. Because again, they had an appointment with Ho Feng in the morning appointment with him. So they decided they would split the party, and
Always a good thing.
half would go talk to Ho Feng, and half would go talk to, or half would go, creepy crawl, as you like to say, his mansion. And so that's what they did. And it was interesting because the ploy that they used for talking to Ho Feng is that, George, who is our young attorney, right? He was going to go in acting as an agent for the Pinhu Foundation, right? The Pinhu Foundation, and want to, ensure that all their interests are maintained there and talk to Ho Feng about the unfortunate demise of Edward Gavigan and so forth and so on. Of course, Ho Feng is not really buying any of this because I mean he talks with Audrey Pinhu, regularly. So
Frequently.
so he is more evaluating what the players are trying to do, what the characters are trying to convince him of, and is just kind of observing all of this. And so they go back and forth, and it becomes kind of a cat and mouse game until they start becoming very uncomfortable. I did try to, and so George had brought in another player to act as his muscle, as his bodyguard, right? And so Ho Feng attempted to use this spell, implant fear in the other guy, and it failed utterly. It failed utterly because he made his sand roll and it didn't have the effect. So it's like, oh, whatever. But
Which is, as an aside,
yep,
we could talk about our opinions of magic in the game.
we will. Let's get to that. We'll definitely talk on that. But it didn't work, and so it didn't really matter. So, but and so I paused there and then switched to the other scene, the creeper crawling in the mansion, and there was a plan of like let's go room to room to room to room, open front through the front door, the first right, open all the doors, and it's like okay, well that's going to be a problem because there's going to be people that you're going to encounter. Then there was another plan put forward. Let's go to the very, very end and work our way back, right? And so that's what they did. And
That's
by
the
doing
pavilion.
it,
That's where the pavilion is.
that's exactly where the pavilion is. So they hightailed it immediately to where they needed to go. And then they made great deductions, right? They saw the bronze Buddha, right? And they immediately tried to move it out of the way, right? So then they noticed, and Chris was ruling incredibly last night. He ruled so many extreme successes, and until he didn't. And then he moved the head of the Buddha, and it slid out of the way. And there, those rooms open up, and they love that. They investigated all that very, very quickly. They got to they got through the great, or the locked door again with an extreme success on a lockpick roll. It's just nuts. And then they walk into the room, and there's the crawling ceiling, right? The crawling ceiling trap. And they looked at it, and I said, "You look at it for a minute." And they didn't. They didn't look at it for a minute, so I was disappointed there.
Is that what it says? They have to look at it for a minute?
It says 5 combat rounds, but I have no idea how long that is. So I said a minute.
As soon as they looked up, they were caught. That's the way I ran it, but we'll get to that.
I should have done that myself. But again, it didn't matter because Jack was beside himself when he saw what's her name? Mei Ling.
Mei Ling.
When he saw Mei Ling in the trap, freaked out, was trying to do dreadful things. They basically had to wrestle him down, got her out, and then they began fiddling around in the room like they do. And like your guys, they opened the teak cabinet and immediately got poisoned, right?
I forgot about the poison. Go, yes.
And so like the needle trap, I said like a porcupine quill needle or something of that effect, appeared in this guy's chest, and it's like, uh-oh. And what was it? Somebody rolled like, oh, it was a group luck roll because it was a strange mechanic in the text. It was make a group luck roll for it, and and so it's like, okay, so one of the other characters made a group luck roll, double lot, baby, double lot. And so he took a massive amount of damage, and that was fun. But then they did that and immediately left. Did not pass go, and but again had to make a group luck roll. And as they did, they were spotted. They were spotted, right? And so
This is getting good.
Yeah, and so they run out, and this was late in the evening, right? So as time was clicking by. So there was a small minor chase, and that's where I ended it with that group. That group is split up, so they split up and ran in different directions and are being chased by the Ho Fung's cultists. Okay, now switch back to the other scene at Ho Fung's warehouse, right? Where they were leaving, right? They were like, they had worn out their welcome and they were leaving. And as they were going, one of the players said, can I make a couple spot hiddens, right? As I leave. Like, sure, of course you can. And again, he makes this spot, he makes both of them. The one in the room, that's in Ho Fung's office, spots nothing, right? There is nothing to spot there. It's a showpiece, right? He does it, he's not a gangster. He's a legitimate businessman.
Yeah.
So mine's nothing. But then I had them when they left, right? So I have in my take of this thing. So I kind of collapsed a couple of the things. I think that there's like, isn't there two boats? Is there two boats? Or is there one?
Well, there's the Dark Mistress, which is the super fast boat, and then there's the Ivory Wind, which is the boat from England bringing the shit that gets on.
So I basically just kind of like the Ivory Wind has sailed on, right? And so now I'm just using the Dark Mistress. And so
you don't need the Ivory Wind.
Yeah. So what I said is when they came out of the Ho Fung's office, they were there in the warehouse and had an eye on the dock, and they saw that the Dark Mistress was there, and they were loading on crates onto the Dark Mistress. And so that is obviously, a point of interest. And that's where we left the session, with one side being chased by cultists and the other side seeing the Dark Mistress being loaded with crates. So it was a cool ending. Super excited about playing again on January 8th.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. And it mirrors my running of the chapter in many ways.
Oh, cool. All right. Good.
And it differs in ways, mostly because I diverted them. I'm not running it as written. And I also forget things. Like in the heat of the game, when things are happening, I'll forget little details, like the poison trap.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the time before, my group was split up and being chased by Ho Fang's cultists. So in this session, we resolved that fairly quickly, and both teams were able to get away from the chasing cultists. Now I'm using chase rules that I can't really talk about, but they're pretty effective, and the group loves them. So while I'm running the thing, I have certain feelings about the rules and a chase sequence as the the operator of it. The players are thrilled by it. They're just they really like the chase scenes and they really like being chased, and it's they're all in, right? It's almost as engaging, if not as engaging, as combat.
That's fantastic. I mean, that's a win for the chases, right?
That is a win for the chases. Yes, that's a win for the chases. Okay, so they got split up. I had a different number of players this time. We're missing a couple, or so, I can't remember which. And then some people came late. And then, anyways, they got back together, and I said to the table, "Let's find Jack Brady. How are you guys going to find Jack Brady?" Okay, so they these different things and these different clues, and they went hunting around. And one of the things they did is half of the group went and watched Ho Fang's warehouse. Now, they'd been to the warehouse before and talked with Ho Fang, and that didn't go well. That's what precipitated the chase the session before. So they're just observing. And I did the same sort of thing. I had, oh, now I've added an additional element because one of my players, one of the investigators, maybe one of the players, but one of the investigators is a pilot. So I've added a flying boat to the scene, right? So now in my campaign, there's 3 ways to get to the island. You could take the Ivory Wind, you could take the Dark Mistress, or you could fucking fly there.
That's
right?
Great. I love it.
Okay, so they're watching the warehouse, and I've got and there's the dock that the boats can sail under to move things around and winch these different things. And I've got the Ivory Wind there and the Dark Mistress, and they're transferring cargo, and there's everybody hanging out, like working and overseeing this, and Ho Fang is there. So the players know that Ho Fang's going to be there, right? Mm-hmm. And there's all this, they think Brady is on Gray Dragon Island.
Okay.
So because I've given him the flying boat, they just wanna, luckily that player who has the investigator that's a pilot wasn't there this session.
Okay.
So, but they want to just go to the island.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And now I know that Brady's not on the island. I know he's in the goddamn box in Ho Fang's mansion. So while this is all going on, and sometimes things happen in a game that I just get this flash of an idea and it works out really well.
Yeah.
I have them make stealth rolls, right? At one point while they're creepy calling the dock. And this one character who had been inside Ho Fang's mansion quickly and inside the pavilion and realized that the Buddha didn't sit all the way in the back of the pavilion like it ought to, right? He'd forgotten all that. But by failing a sneak roll, I said, well, the reason, you don't make your sneak roll and you don't get close enough to the dock to observe anything is because you see another Buddhist pavilion and you see how deep the Buddhist is set in there and you triggers this recollection. Yeah. So then all of a sudden, then they want to go back.
Yeah.
Then they want to go back. That was a subtle little trick that just spontaneously popped in my mind like a brain zip, Bob.
A brain zip. Got it. Fantastic. Love it. Great.
So the whole team, they go back to the mansion. Middle of the night, they go over the wall. Creepy crawling. Moving around. They know Ho Fang and his goons aren't there.
Okay.
They go into the pavilion, and one of the players says, I go up to the Buddhist. The Buddhist statue. I said, yes. And he says, does its head turn? And I said, oh, yes, it does. In fact, it turns right around, slides out of the way, and a secret door opens.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
I've got 5 players at this point. 2 of them are so excited. They run by, there's doors to the left and right where all the poisons and the machine guns are. They ignore those.
Yes.
They run into the room where the glass cabinet is. They they hear a noise above them, right? This rattling grate that pulls out of the way because the trap is sprung.
Yeah.
They look up, they're caught.
Nice.
I call for power rolls. Neither of them succeeds with a hard power. So they're caught in the maze. Exactly. Yep. So then I go in so there's I described the room, the chest, the glass cabinet. I've got Jack Brady in there, and rats have eaten his feet.
Nice.
So I go in combat rounds by dexterity, and ask them what they do. So the people that are trapped, their mind is off in the maze, right? And I have them make sanity rolls and power rolls to get out. And first they have to succeed with a sanity roll. Well, they're not succeeding at sanity rolls. So they're just like drooling, right?
Yeah,
Now the
yeah,
other players can hear this, but the investigators, right, they don't know what to do. So they grab them and pull them out of the room, which then makes it impossible to escape from the mental maze. So I tell the players whose minds are in the maze, this is at the table in front of everyone, that all of a sudden that slight chance of escape that they had an
yeah.
inkling that they could find is gone.
Uh-huh. Oh my gosh.
And the other players heard this, but they didn't either put together that the bodies had to be back in the room, or they played it as their characters.
Sure, good, good. Either way,
Really
good.
good. So they kept trying to physically abuse the catatonic investigators to wake them
Good.
up.
Good.
Things like I pinch him. Does he respond? No. I slap him. Does he
Yep.
respond? No. I punch him. Does he respond?
Good.
Oh no. I stab him. Does he respond? And I'm thinking, they're
Yeah.
going to murder one of them.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, another investigator, not looking at the ceiling, is creepy crawling the room, goes to the teak cabinet. I forgot about the poison. And there's a motherfucking mythos library.
Oh, it is. It is. It's crazy.
And she takes them all.
Oh, she's got it all. There's a
The
lot of books in there,
whole
man.
enchilada.
There's a lot of books in there.
6 of them. So many books that I had to write them all out. There's the
Yep.
further reading pile.
Yep. Oh my gosh, it's crazy, isn't it? This game, you get a library.
It's insane. And then I curated the list of spells that I'm going to let them potentially learn, because I dislike the call every god and his motherfucking brother spell. You know what I mean? There's Cthulhu ain't coming. There's no hotline to Cthulhu. There's no hotline to Azathoth. That shit ain't happening. There's one god in this story, and it's Nyarlathotep.
Counterpoint, I let the cards, fall where they go, right? And but they've done a really nice job of disguising the names of the spells in the book, right? So, and
To
you
a
turn
percentage. To a percentage. On some of them, they have done a nice job, and on other ones, they didn't.
Really? I thought I haven't found ones that I felt that I needed to fiddle with.
Well, I change all of them, like Enchant Knife. I'll change the title of Enchant Knife so that it's not so prosaic.
Sure, sure. I thought the names were all doctored up, but I could be wrong because I mean my players have made terrible decisions on the spells that they've chosen based upon the name, right? So it's like, oh yeah. But I think they've only ever cast one spell, right? They only have ever cast one spell.
My group in this game has cast a couple. The one they cast that contacted Nyarlathotep after they'd already met him, that was pretty sweet.
Yes, yes.
And the other one summoned the dimensional shambler, which showed up and killed the summoner.
That is tough. That's tough.
That was great too. That was great too. Okay, by dice rolls. Oh, they figure out that the mentally trapped investigators, possessive bodies, have to be in the room. So they get the bodies back in the room, and then they can they succeeded in some sanity rolls, which gave them the opportunity for a hard power roll. And having failed regular power rolls, they discovered they needed hard power rolls, and they spent down their luck to do it.
Gotcha. Okay. Fantastic.
So then they left, and then somebody had a temporary bout of, or somebody failed a sanity check.
Mm-hmm.
And as someone else other than trapped in the ceiling, and as you recall, when an investigator fails a sanity check, they make some sort of an involuntary reaction.
Yep.
So the character that failed pulled out his pistol and took a shot at the rats.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Right. So there's a pretty good chance that one of the servants in Ho Fang's mansion heard that.
Sure.
So I said, okay, a group luck roll means that there's nobody outside the pavilion waiting for you when you come out. And they made it, despite spending all, helpings after helping of luck.
Yeah.
They made the group roll and they're out. And that's where we're picking it up tonight.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I can't wait.
So I'm playing in a few hours. It's sort of late Friday, before dinner Friday when we're recording this, folks, and I'm playing after dinner. And we're going to pick up, I've got, I think, a full complement
Nice.
of players we're going to pick up right there. And
Hmm.
my plan, so they've got Jack Brady.
Hmm. Hmm.
And my plan is Brady is, oh, and his feet are fucked up because
Yeah.
rats
Yeah.
chewed his feet off, right?
It's a problem.
So if they're going to want to go back to their hotel, like
Hmm.
here's a quick aside. Quick aside. Will you indulge me?
Go ahead.
My wife Casey and I are in Mexico, and we see a guy that we've met before, right?
Hmm.
On a prior time when we're in Puerto Morales, we've met him, so we're talking to him. We know him just a little bit, and he asks where we're staying, and we tell him without
Hmm.
even thinking. We tell him, and he goes, "Oh, I know that place. What unit are you in?" And we tell him without even thinking. We tell him exactly where we live. And then Casey and I at the same time look at each other and realize that that's what our investigative team has done in every hotel they've stayed at. And here in real life,
Yes.
we did it without even
Yes.
thinking. So Jack Brady's going to say, "My feet are too fucked up. There's no way I'm making it back to your hotel. Let's go to my buddy Moo's house."
Nice. All
And
right.
I'm going to throw everything right there. Mei
Yep.
Ling is going to be this. So all I did was switch Mei Ling and Jack
Sure.
Brady. I
Yep.
put Mei Ling in the hiding spot and I put Jack Brady in the box.
Yep.
So Mei Ling's going to be there. Moo's going to be there. The sacred book, the seven celestial books, is in translation.
Yep.
And it'll take like a week or so for that to be fully translated. Now,
Yep.
I'm not going to use the HPL um, recording, the HPL Historical Society recording of Jack Brady's narrative for a couple of reasons. The voice isn't right in my mind. In
Hmm.
my mind, I've pictured Jack Brady as a combination between Bruce Campbell and I think the actor's name is Patrick Warburton, the guy that
Yeah.
voices Brock Sampson
Yep.
in the Venture Brothers. So I'm going to do my best worst Bruce Campbell imitation,
Sure. Yeah.
and I'm just going to kind of breeze through the big points,
Okay.
right? And he's fucked up because
Yep.
he's been tortured and rats ate his
Yeah.
feet
Yeah. Yeah.
and all this kind of stuff. And so I'm going to lay all this stuff out, and then I'm pretty sure we're going to Great Dragon Island.
That's one heck of a way of finishing up the evening. And it will
Yeah.
be finishing up the year, right? Our year
But
and
I don't think we're going to, because there's a lot at Great Dragon
oh
Island.
my gosh, yeah. You're going to get the Great Dragon out. You're not going to finish it. No way.
No, 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 no. But there's one thing I want to say about Great Dragon Island. So as I'm prepping, I know we're running along, folks.
We are
Bear
running
with
long.
me. I'm reading the text. And the deep ones have a little vacation colony off of the
They do.
Great
It's a
Dragon Inn.
timeshare. They have timeshares there.
They got a little crib down there. And there's a chance if the investigators show up on a boat, there's a chance the deep one sees them. And I'm going to quote here from the text. If the investigators attempt to sneak in at night by boat, a deep one out for a swim notices them. And that phrase "out for a swim" was funny to me.
It's out for a
And it
swim.
made me think of like, what would be an interesting game is to have like, what do deep ones do when they're not like on the job? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Go out for swims,
Like,
obviously.
like we're hanging out at the timeshare. Guys, I'm just gonna go for a little swim.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out for a night swim. I'll catch you guys later. Have the drinks ready. I'll be back.
I'll be back. Of course, now I'm just coming back from a vacation in Mexico. So
Sure, sure.
so yeah, no, you're right. I do not think I'm gonna get through. Oh, now the other thing with Great Dragon Island is that there's a very strong suggestion and there's elements to contribute to that suggestion that make it an island raid. So it's got
Yeah.
a very much of a kind of a 70s James Bond feel.
Yes, I love that.
I like it. But as I was reading it, I kept asking myself, where's the horror?
There's plenty of horror. There's
It's a
plenty of horror.
it's a horror game.
Plenty of horror in that.
So we'll see. We'll let you know, folks. Thanks so much. When did we start this? Did we start this year?
Yes, yes, January-ish. Yeah. So
So this is a year of arcane keepers of armchair. God damn it, of armchair keepers of arcane secrets.
that's right.
Thank you for joining us on this experiment, this Ryan Geiss production experiment.
And of course, remember the best gift that you can give your loved ones is to tell them to subscribe to this channel.
A subscription to Armchair Keepers.
All right. Fantastic.
Happy holidays, folks. We'll see you next year.